Holy macaroni, the lighting in here is really bad. Blinding myself. What is up, beautiful, lovely, wonderful people of YouTube? Welcome back if you're a subscriber to my channel, or welcome in general if it's your first time clicking on one of my videos. It's awesome to be here and have a little moment with you guys. Currently, I am in my sauna. There's a non-functional sauna off my bedroom that we've kind of just been using for storage, but I've actually moved a huge collection of my things in here. I'll have to give you guys a tour because, well, it's kind of like messy right now, and I'm still moving my music equipment in here, but this is going to be my recording studio. So, I'll insert a clip, just a little tour for you guys, but, yeah, it's been amazing. It smells nice in here. It smells like cedar or some kind of wood, and, I just come in here and chill and work on, like, mixing and beats and stuff, and I have a bunch of equipment that just came in that I need to install some software on my laptop to be able to use. But yeah, everything's gonna get set up in here, so it's just nice to have like a little space of my own. And yeah, this room is actually a humongous blessing. Lots of storage, lots of space, and yeah, so that has been a humongous blessing. And I'm fortunate to have gotten all my things moved in here. Yeah, I know it's been a while. I've been so seriously bad at, like, keeping up with the channel, and I've been working really hard on my music, working on writing songs, on the melodies, on practicing my singing, and just kind of delving into that, I guess, to escape from other things, and because, I mean, that's my passion, so, very grateful to have been able to do that. I know I said it was going to be like a week when I would release my song. I've been transferring my recording studio into here from out in the bedroom and getting more tools that I need to make things sound more professional, so that's why it's been more than a week and I, like, still haven't released my song. I might go ahead and release something as, like, a teaser. It's probably not going to be great quality, but I've been thinking about doing that because I do have a, like, audio file that might be suitable, but I don't know. It's just hard because I'm a perfectionist, and, you know, when you put something out there for the first time, especially, you want it to sound really good, so we will see, like, how that goes. But mainly, I wanted to say, and you know, I did film another video, I just, like, haven't posted it as of right now, and I keep praying if I should post it, because I'm just, it's been like 3 weeks since I made that video, I think, so if I do end up posting it and you see what I'm talking about, like, that was like a while ago, so I'm better now. Yeah, I made a video, but I was completely, like, an emotional wreck in the video, and, I probably will post it. Because I think it would help someone, and I keep kind of getting that sense on my heart that it would help somebody if I post it, because, you know, we all go through things, we all experience hard times, we all have moments where we just need to cry, and, you know, I don't know, it's not that I'm, like, ashamed of crying or something, it's just more like I don't want people to worry about me or something. You know, I'm okay relatively now. I feel better. I think that day was just, like, my breaking point. one of several breaking points within the last couple months. And, you know, everything kind of came to a head and I just broke down. But, yeah, I am doing a lot better now. I feel like this whole situation with the war breaking out in Israel and just everything that's happening in the world, you know, it becomes very obvious to me that my problems are not real problems. And, you know, I mean, people are dying, and, you know, my prayers go to both sides of that conflict. You know, I pray for the Palestinian people and I pray for Israeli people, and I really believe that in our world, when you see, it's just the same thing as the Ukraine and Russian war, you know, and I know people have all sorts of opinions on these types of things, but from my perspective, you know, there's one side that's behind both sides, and that's the side of Satan. And I think it's not helpful to take sides. I think the elites want us to take sides, so we're more focused on fighting each other, fighting opposite opinions, than we're focused on the real issue, which is the people that are getting killed and losing their families. You know, those are people that are dying. It doesn't matter what group they belong to. You know, we should pray for and care about people. And just because they show us extremes of both sides, which both sides do have very extreme ideologies, if you look into their ideologies of each of those groups of people, there are extremes on both sides that are disgusting, in my opinion, and horrible, and on both sides, literally on both sides, that, you know, are just disgusting and genocidal and racist and all these different things. So, you know, I know a lot of people have different opinions on it. My opinion is that war is horrible, and I think both sides are human, and the people that are affected the most by war are the people that don't want it, don't care about it, don't care about the politics, just want to live and raise their families. And, you know, the civilian casualties are the, those are the people that pay the price of rich man's wars. You know, we civilians pay the price of that. So my heart and my prayers have been with both sides and just all people around the world who are suffering, because it's a huge tragedy that people have to be just scattered like pawns on this chessboard. But it all has a purpose too, and, you know, I think we're seeing things in this world that hopefully are a wake-up call to a lot of people. And actually, I have so much stuff to talk about now that I'm thinking. I've wanted to sit down and make a video, not just about this war stuff, you know. Like I said, I'm praying for all of those people, and I think we should all be praying for all those people. And, you know, I will touch really quick on the fact that, just me personally, I believe that Israel is a people, not a race, not a group, not a faction. I believe it is a scattered people, and not a location, not a racial group. You know, so I don't really buy into that. I know a lot of Christians, and this is a thing where, like, it kind of confuses me about Christians. I don't believe that, though. I don't believe that Israel is a location, you know? I just don't. I don't think that it's a physical thing like that. I could be wrong, but again, I pray for both sides. I don't think that it's ever right to force people to leave a location because you think that you have a right to it. You know, I feel like that's a forced man-made thing where God told Israel he would give them a land, and this is man forcefully doing something, which is not a natural thing. If you look into like the Balfour Declaration and all that stuff, like this was man forcing a situation, and not God opening a way. In my mind, you know, and like I said, I could be wrong. I don't know the details of everything. I just feel in my heart that Israel is not a religious group or a location. That's just me. And, you know, I think we should pray for everybody. I get, and I've been kind of aghast at seeing some Christians, like, almost like cheering on the death of like Palestinian people, or cheering on like the destruction of the Gaza Strip. I really just think that's so gross, because there's little kids who live there, and like I get that there's hostilities, but those have been on both sides for like decades. And you know, like I said, I don't believe in the ideologies of either side. And, you know, Muslims are obviously not Christian, but Jewish people are not Christian either. You know, they're not down with Jesus. Like, they don't care about Christ. I'm not saying all of them, but I don't know. It's just interesting how Christians always side with Israel when they don't believe in Jesus. Like, they don't believe Jesus is God. They don't worship Jesus. They don't acknowledge Jesus. So to me, it's like, you know, another war. But I see a lot of Christians who are getting very riled up, getting really emotional, getting really involved, when it's like, that country doesn't even like you. Like, I mean, pray for them, of course. Pray for them to find Jesus. But, you know, it's a very weird relationship thing that I see with Christians and Israel. And I think it's really carnal. I think, you know, because the land, they've slapped the name Israel on there, like, it touches on people's heartstrings or something. I don't know. I just think it's a really confusing thing that Christians do that I don't understand, honestly. I really don't understand. Pray for both sides. Yes, pray for Israel. Yes, pray for the people who live on the other side too. You know, those are all God's children. And yeah, they both have problems. You know, they both have a lot of problems in my findings. But the other thing that I really wanted to talk about, and I didn't want to go on a big rabbit hole or get political about anything, because, you know, I really think politics is just a way to divide people, period. And like I said, when you have one side that is saying they're justified and another, it's like you're killing people. So I'm not going to take a side of anyone who's killing people. That's inexcusable. Like, and you can say self-defense, but like leveling an area into a parking lot is not self-defense. You know, when I don't know, it's a weird situation. Anyways, though, yeah, I didn't want to go on a rabbit hole on that one, but I probably could. I don't know. But the really interesting thing that I also wanted to talk about, I gotta make sure that I'm good on time. I got like 20 minutes. The really interesting thing I wanted to talk about, though, is Jehovah's Witnesses came out with a new light, of course, and they have something called an annual meeting, and they make announcements for like doctrinal changes, which is funny because like in the Bible it says God doesn't change, but they change their doctrine all the time, and they just call it New Light. And I don't know, I was blown away, and I wish that I can talk to my dad and see what he thinks about this, because they have done away with field service reporting. So, like, when you're a Jehovah's Witness, you go in the door-to-door work, you knock on people's door. Well, it used to be, now they just stand there with a cart, like, giving out literature or whatever, but they used to go knocking around on doors when I was in. That's what I always did my whole childhood. Like, we would have to, knock on people's doors. You turn in your hours to the elder body, which is like their priests. You turn in your how many hours you got per month to them on a piece of paper, and how many like return visits you have, so people who are regularly taking the magazines, how many magazines or books you placed, how many Bible studies you have, like you fill all this stuff out. And if your numbers are low, you get in trouble. Like, they'll come talk to you and be like, why are your hours so low? And it's also like a status thing in the Kingdom Hall, because people see how much you're out in service. Obviously, the elders, like, really see, because they have the literal numbers. And it's kind of like a status thing. Like, everybody know, oh, they're pioneering. Pioneers get, like, I think it's 90 hours a month now, but when I was in, and it was 120 hours a month that they would have to put in. And now they've done away with the hourly requirement, which is good, but it's literally like their whole teachings are based on that. So I'm curious, like, because they've always done it that way, and I can't even describe the amount of people who were in like so much emotional distress because they were trying to meet these hours when they're like struggling to make ends meet in their personal life with their job and money and everything like that. And then competing and feeling like you're not good enough because it's like, all I could put down was 3 hours this month preaching, and I know that's not good enough. It's all work stuff, and like it would make me feel guilty. And then you have people who would lie and put time on their timesheet when they didn't even do it because they're like, I don't care about that, but I have to do it. Now it's just going to be a box that people check, and they're going to just check that they preached to someone or that they spent time preaching that month, which is like how it should have been from the beginning, first of all. But I just think that's hilarious that like they are at the point in their like works-based faith that they are literally having their members check boxes on a form every month, because they're like Jehovah knows, like, if you turned your time. I think what must be happening is their numbers must be dwindling so low that they have to do this, because it's like people have started to just, they're like, I'm not gonna go out in service, like, I'm not doing it. And so they're lowering the requirement to a checked box because their retention rates must be so terrible. And I just think that that's crazy because, growing up in a family of 6, like, it was really hard for my parents to get everybody ready, get us out the door, get us going out in service. And we actually didn't even go out in service. Because my parents didn't want to do it. It's so awkward. My mom had really bad anxiety about it. I was definitely anxious about it. So we got away with not doing it until I was like 10. My parents would just make excuses that they were like at work, but they were really viewed pretty poorly in the Kingdom Hall. So eventually, I think when I was like 10 or somewhere around there, we finally like had to start going out in service, and I just hated it. It was just, I did not like that. Like, it's so awkward to knock on strangers' doors and all that stuff, and not enjoyable at all. But so that's something that, a huge change that they've just made that kind of rocked my world. Learning about that, I was like, wow. And then the other huge announcement that they made was that, people who maybe don't know about Jehovah's Witness, like maybe the people who don't know about their beliefs, people who are disfellowshipped, people who are, not going to meetings, not in good standing. It used to be that all of those people, if Armageddon came, they're just gonna die. Period. You're just gonna die. Well, now they're saying those people actually still have a hope up until that time, where even during the Great Tribulation or whatever, they could still come back to Jehovah or come to him if they've never known him, and repent, and that God would be merciful and still save them. So that kind of changes everything, because if a person can be saved, which duh, like that's what the Bible has always taught, by the way. But they haven't taught that in their Bible, and they've actually removed scriptures about forgiveness, removed scriptures that support, that if you repent and turn away from your sin, yes, even at the last moment, like, you can still be saved. They have very much not taught that at all. Their whole doctrine is based on, if you're not in a good relationship with Jehovah, which is just being in good standing with the congregation, which means works, you've literally been checking the boxes and looking like you've been doing the right things, then you're good, and you're not going to heaven, you're gonna live in paradise. And all the other unbelieving, plebs will just die in like a fiery hailstorm of death or something. So, now they're saying the way is actually open for every single person, essentially, to still be saved, and if they start seeing these things go down, and seeing that, Jehovah's people are the chosen people, that anybody can still turn back and get saved and everything, and live forever on a paradise earth. So my question is, like, doesn't that change, like, literally everything? Because even the shunning doctrine, so they shun people, like, and even if it's not in their official doctrine, which I think it is, but culturally, like, they shun people. Obviously, I've been being shunned for like 7 years now by my family, and yeah, I'm just wondering how are they going to justify shunning still if everyone can be saved? Like, if that's the case, why would my family be shunning me when they could potentially save me? And if things go down and, I realize at the last moment or something, okay, this really is there would be proof or something, and shunning would, like, literally be the opposite of what I would want to do to someone if I believed. I mean, that's why, like, Christians don't shun people at all. We don't turn sinners away. We love everyone. We forgive everyone. And, the whole doctrine of Christianity is based on forgiveness and love and sharing Jesus with people. So I'm just curious how that jives with the new teaching. Even me, someone who they call an apostate, just because I left and, I'm talking about the doctrine, or, being critical of the things that they teach, or some of the ways that they handle things within the organization, I get labeled as an apostate for that. Where does that put someone like me? Because by their own admission, shouldn't that mean that I'm able to be saved and that I shouldn't be shunned? And I don't know, I'm just really curious about that whole thing, and I haven't heard that many people talking about how that new light is going to affect their shunning procedures. And actually, I wouldn't even really be terribly surprised if they came out and if they come out here pretty soon and reverse the shunning thing. And I think this is also why what's his name, Tony Morris the third was kicked out, because I think they probably brought these things to the table, oh, we want to do away with the fact that unbelievers can't be saved, and the hours, turning in hours, and I think he probably was up in arms about that and wouldn't do it. And, you know, they just kicked him off and replaced him so that they could do those things. Because the thing is, they are losing members. They're bleeding out members. And I don't think they can keep people with the current teachings. It has to be more progressive, more forgiving, more liberal, in order for them to retain people. And it's just funny because when you have also a religion that just keeps changing its doctrine, that just shows me that you don't know what you're talking about. That you don't know the Bible, you don't know God, you don't know what he wants, you're just flying by the seat of your pants. Men. Like, you guys are men. And they just make things up as they go. And then when they get it wrong, they say it's new light, and people are like, oh, okay, but it's like, yeah, but you were wrong on that for like 50 years, or 100 years, or 100 plus years, or whatever. And it's funny to me because they even came out in their video, and they were like, we're not going to apologize for getting it wrong. Which is like, of course you're not. Why am I not surprised by that? But they're like, we're not going to apologize for getting it wrong because, you know, we're not perfect and we make mistakes. But you're not putting yourself in a position of imperfection. You're touting yourself as the end-all be-all mouthpiece of God Almighty. And, like, that's where I have a very strong, like, distaste for the organization of the Watchtower and Tract Society. Because they're putting themselves on this pedestal that when something goes wrong for them, they're like, oh, well, we're not the mouthpiece of God. But when they're making policy, they're like, we're the mouthpiece of God. So it's very flip-floppy, very hypocritical, and yeah, very, very carnal. And so, you know, just very interesting. I would be very interested to hear, like, what my parents think of that, because, you know, that's just kind of mind-blowing to me that that's happening. Anyways, though, I'm running out of space on my phone, and I need to leave here in a few minutes to go to work, but I just wanted to touch base with everyone. I am doing better. I'm feeling better. And even me and my bestie have been making plans, and things I feel like are going better, you know, in life in general. I'm kind of trying to get my act together and, you know, climbing back up onto that wagon and getting myself together. I think, you know, all the things going on in the world right now are a huge sign that we all need to get our house in order. You know, I'm not a perfect person. I've made mistakes. I've slipped and stumbled in these past couple months, but I'm not going to give up. You know, I'm not going to allow the enemy to push me down and just sit there in the mud crying. Like, I'm not going to do that. Anything that we face, we can get through it as long as we have Jesus. We come to him, we put all our burdens at his feet, and he's not going to abandon us. He's not going to reject us the way that other people have rejected us. And even though in my personal situation I've felt very hopeless and alone and lost, I still have hope that things are going to turn around and work out for the best, and that God is planning something for me that I would not have even imagined, and that he has good things in store for me, you know. And at least right now I'm happy and very blessed that I'm able to work on my music, and that I'm able to have this channel and talk to all of you lovely people and just bring encouragement. And, you know, I have the prison ministry coming up, and I've had a lot of mixed feelings about that, but I am very grateful to be doing that. I don't feel like I deserve to be doing it. I don't feel like I am ready to do it. We've been practicing, but I feel like I'm not ready. And that's coming up here in like 2.5 weeks. So that'll be an interesting thing. I can't bring cameras or anything to do that, so I'll just have to tell you guys about it, because I can't bring anything. I can't bring my phone. I bring my ID in there, and that's the only thing I can bring. But I will definitely be giving an update on how that goes. So far, it's been amazing just meeting the ladies, and they've been so supportive, and I just cry like every time I go there because we all pray for each other, and I feel like all of us are probably under a lot of spiritual warfare because we're going into that situation. And I'm sure probably those prisoners are going through spiritual warfare too, the ones who were selected to go to the weekend, because Satan does not want that, you know. So I am very aware that there's an aspect to that as well. But I think, you know, it's going to be really good for me. I think it's going to be really good for everybody involved, and I am grateful. I didn't mean to sound like I'm ungrateful for the experience in my last video. I just, you know, I've been so overwhelmed, and it is overwhelming. Like, I want to do it, and I'm grateful to do it. I just feel overwhelmed about doing it, and I don't feel like I'm good enough to be doing it. So, thank you, Jesus, for letting me do it. You know, it's not because I'm good that I'm able to do prison ministry at all, because I'm not anything special. Anyways, though, I love you guys so much. I will pray for each and every one of you who watch this video, click on this video. I hope to be releasing my music soon, and like I said, I'll do like a little studio tour. Hopefully I inserted it in this video already, but I love you guys so much. Thank you always for watching the videos, for checking in with me, for chilling, for hanging out. I want to get more into a routine of making videos more when I can. So I thank you for hanging out for a minute with me. Just remember, stay prayed up, stay blessed up, stay fasted up, and if you find you are doing things here on earth that you wouldn't be doing in heaven, let's take a moment and think about that, and think about the fact that, you know, we're not going to be doing that in heaven, so we should probably not do it here. Very difficult reality to face. Kind of impossible sometimes, seemingly. And, you know, none of us are perfect, but we try our best, and with the grace of God, we get through each day resisting Satan. Sometimes we fall short, but just remember, if you do fall short, get back up and keep trying, and don't give up. Okay? I love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out with me. I will catch you on the next video. Peace.